camera. You almost died, girl. Get a sense of what matters in the world. But Shannon, this is like the world is your oyster. I mean, David was fucking crazy. You read these texts from Lesley, the shit with John. It's like, Shannon, you are going to laugh. I think Shannon and Alexis are going to be friends one day. I think Shannon's going to be like, thank God it's you and not me, honey. I'm in love. I'm like loving life. That's what I'm predicting. I'm predicting Shannon and Alexis become friends, and I'm predicting Shannon has her moment of like, life is so good. Oh my God. Thank God I'm not with you. She's going to be like with someone who's like, oh my God, this is what it's supposed to be like. Like, I'm so sick. I'm sick and I'm in bed and I gained 10 pounds and this guy loves me. This is actually what it is. This is how it's supposed to be. Go on.
I hope so. No, I hope that. I hope that for everybody, right? I mean, isn't that what you want in a partner? But what a year for Shannon Beador. I mean, it's just like when we thought this was going to be the worst, and now, I mean, David Beador looks like a whack job with these, I mean, he sort of looks that way anyway, but I mean, he looks crazy, obsessive. I mean, the sweetest revenge is when somebody has an affair on you and then regrets it. I mean, how lucky are you? It basically seems like David is like anyone would have been better than Lesley. Like, I mean, I can't believe like I basically he's saying like I wish I had Shannon back. She was he was not nearly as terrible as you. Um David Beador, look, now these two have been fighting, by the way, David Beador and Lesley. What's her, and I guess, is it Lesley Beador? Did she take his last name?
I think she might have, to be honest with you.
They've been fighting for years, right? I mean, I think they were married. It's been 4 or 5 years, and they initially had filed for divorce, I think, in 2021. Then they took it back. So it's been going on for a long time. But what a mess! And again, like Shannon looking great.
Yeah. And by the
I don't think
way,
she's. I don't think she's gonna be friends with Alexis though. But
you
maybe.
don't. I don't know. I think
I mean,
Stranger
look at
Things.
camera. Jim Bellino can sue him, and that Tamara still wants to be friends? I don't know.
Well, it's funny because I had a psychic on this past very week on Tuesday. One of our good friends, Psychic Robin from the Psychic Network. By the way, you could go on from the Psychic Source, excuse me. You can go on the Psychic Source and $20. You use code Velvet and you get 35 minutes of a reading for $20. I had her read Teresa. I had her read Louis Realias. There's some not good news for Teresa and Louis. I'm going to be honest with you. Some good
Oh.
news for Teresa. But
Oh,
you
so
want to know what she said? Listen, she had a lot to say about the future of the friendship between Vicky and Shannon, Shannon and Tamara, all of them. So you'd be shocked. I don't want to give anything away, but she has some shocking makeups and breakups in that group. So she didn't talk about Alexis and Shannon, but some of the other things
wow.
I don't know. I think maybe, but I agree with you, Shannon. And by the way, just for the record, I would never sign a non-disparagement agreement either. So I actually don't blame John for not signing and taking the money because I wouldn't sign that. Granted, if it's settled, you kind of have to. Normally you sign, like when I've sued people and we've settled out of court, yeah, you have to sign that agreement. But I mean, I knew it wasn't like they were going to say anything. I mean, it works both ways.
Right.
So, like, they weren't going to say anything about me, and I couldn't say anything about them. We also, I mean, I was kind of in the public eye at the time, but they weren't, and they're not. So it is different, but I get what John is saying. I have to be honest with you. I get what he's saying. I mean,
I
to
mean,
watch what happens, he said he had a muzzle.
I'm sure that was a power play by Shannon and her attorneys, but he's not doing it. I mean, it'll be interesting to see where their lawsuit settles.
It'll be interesting to see where their lawsuit settles. Yup. What else you got for us? What else is like, oh, Erika. Erika Jayne has apparently
What did,
said,
what did Miss Jane say?
she said that it was about Tom Girardi. She reacted to
Oh,
his
she said, yes, I've heard this, that she's a little depressed, right? Like it like brought everything back. She just kind of wants to become a recluse. She's like, Yeah. I
I
had
do, and
read that
I
too,
don't know,
right?
I
That
don't know where, so I apologize to the source, but I did see that she basically feels she can't get out of bed again. Yeah, like it's
yeah,
taken her back to look. I mean, are we shocked about this?
no. Because my theory has always been that she's madly in love with the old Tom. I think Girardi was the love of her life. I mean, did she know for certain that he was stealing? I actually kind of, I know, your friend, Richard, who's the lawyer that he doesn't
Ronald
speak,
Richards.
Ronald Richards.
He
Thank you.
hates you. He hates
Right.
you.
Ronald Richards, who hates me. So,
Someone out there hates Sarah and actually likes me. Imagine that. At least he did the last time I talked to him. Go on.
well, anyway, so Ronald says she knew, she was in on it. But I mean, I actually believe she may not have known. I just think everybody has to understand Tom was this legendary attorney. I don't think you're saying to him, I need to see our books. I mean, she was a small town girl who felt like she had made it. I would have too. I would have thought Tom had it all together. So I don't know. Ronald's gonna have his hands full, I'm sure, proving that. But I mean, it depends on who you talk to. The guys at Marco say she's a snake. But yeah, I think she's madly in love with him. I think she's probably devastated, whatever level of dementia he has. He's going to end his life in a facility that's half jail, half memory care. I mean, what a demise for the guy that she'd still be married to if this didn't happen.
I agree with you on this one. I mean, maybe Ronald isn't going to like me. Ronald, we could still be friends and you could still come on the show. We could just disagree on this matter. I don't think she knew either. I agree. I think that, Tom, you don't question Tom Girardi. He got
I
it
don't think
all
she did.
together. If she tried to question anything, why would you question anything? Again, if your husband is an accountant, then you meet him and he tells you he makes $72,000 a year, and then there's a private plane in the driveway, we got a problem. When you meet the Aaron Brockovich lawyer, and already he's coming into, the Jonathan Club and this and that, and you're traveling, what's the difference whether you have 10 million, 15 million? The numbers blend together. I don't think she knew either. And I agree with you. We've seen Erika. She is a colder type. I completely support that. I am a colder type. I think she felt not just like a gold digger. I think she felt, I mean, look, Tom did not just have money. Tom had power. We've had Kimberly Archie has talked about it on this podcast many times. He walked into